Dangerous Arctic cold is already gripping the eastern United States, with temperatures in the teens, wind chills below zero, and even colder air still settling in. This is not a short-lived event. It is the beginning of a highly volatile weather pattern that will continue unfolding in the days ahead. Millions across the eastern half of the United States are already locked in a dangerous Arctic siege, with temperatures in the teens, wind chills well below zero, and even colder air still settling in. This is not a brief cold snap. It is the opening phase of a highly dynamic and volatile weather pattern that will continue evolving over the next several weeks. Right now, the cold air is firmly in control. From the Great Lakes through the Mid-Atlantic and into the Northeast, temperatures today are sitting in the teens for a large portion of the region, and conditions are expected to worsen before improving. In central and southeastern Virginia, some locations picked up a surprise half-inch to an inch and a half of snow recently, showing just how moisture-loaded these systems remain, even within a generally dry Arctic pattern. Across the Midwest and Northeast, the cold is widespread and intense. Chicago is in the low teens with wind chills in the single digits below zero. Detroit and Cleveland are experiencing similar conditions, with highs barely reaching 15 degrees. Indianapolis struggles to reach 20. Pittsburgh and Buffalo remain in the mid-teens, but bitter winds are making it feel well below zero. New York City is holding between 18 and 20 degrees, dropping into the single digits overnight. Boston is colder still, with highs near 15 and overnight lows approaching zero. Philadelphia sits near 17. Washington, D.C. and Baltimore are near 22. The wind chills make it feel like the single digits. Charlotte is in the upper 20s, Atlanta in the mid-30s, Nashville near 25, and Richmond in the low 20s with wind chills near 10. Sunday morning could bring even colder readings across parts of the Northeast in the Ohio Valley. This is the type of cold where pipes freeze, batteries fail, and exposed skin becomes dangerous in a short amount of time. This Arctic air mass is not just uncomfortable, it has real impacts on infrastructure, travel, and personal safety. As we move into early next week, the pattern begins to change. By Monday and Tuesday, the Arctic influence starts to loosen its grip. By Tuesday the 10th, a ridge builds across the central and eastern United States, replacing the Arctic pipeline with a Gulf of Mexico influence that pushes warmer and more humid air northward. The temperature swing will be dramatic. Dallas rises into the upper 60s to near 70 by Tuesday. Oklahoma City and Tulsa reach the mid-60s. Houston pushes into the mid-70s. Atlanta climbs from the mid-30s this weekend to the upper 50s by midweek. Nashville jumps from the mid-20s to the low 60s by Wednesday. Charlotte warms from the upper 20s into the mid-50s. New York City and Philadelphia, currently locked in the teens, moderate into the low to mid-40s. Boston reaches the upper 30s to low 40s. Washington, D.C. climbs into the low 50s. This warm-up will feel significant, especially in the Northeast, but it may be short-lived. Recent model trends suggest the duration of warmth is shrinking, turning this into a brief window rather than a sustained pattern. That distinction matters because the collision between returning cold air and incoming warm, humid air is what drives powerful February storm systems. As warm air surges northward around Tuesday and Wednesday, the 10th and 11th, the atmosphere becomes unstable enough to support thunderstorms across parts of the Deep South and into the Ohio Valley. Memphis, Little Rock, Jackson, Mississippi, Birmingham, and Atlanta fall within the zone where thunderstorms could develop. Some storms could become strong to marginally severe due to increasing instability. At the same time, the western United States enters a much more active phase. The Cascades, Sierras, Central and Northern Rockies are all expected to see substantial snowfall over the next 2 weeks. This is significant, as much of the mountainous West has experienced a below-average snowpack this winter, and these regions depend heavily on winter snowfall for long-term water supply. Attention then shifts to a storm system emerging around Thursday the 12th and Friday the 13th. Unlike many systems earlier this winter, this one tracks much north across the plains, Midwest, and into the Ohio Valley and Mid-Atlantic. On the European model, accumulating snow spreads across Chicago, Milwaukee, Des Moines, and Minneapolis. Indianapolis and Columbus also pick up several inches. As the system moves east, Pennsylvania, West Virginia, Maryland, and southern New York see a more intense burst of snow. The GFS model shows a similar system but with lighter snow in the Midwest and heavier impacts farther east, including Pittsburgh, Philadelphia, and the Baltimore-Washington corridor. Behind that system, the European model shows another feature attempting to ride up the East Coast around Saturday the 14th into Sunday the 15th, raising the signal for a northeaster-type setup for the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast. While details remain uncertain, the signal is present in the 8 to 10-day range. After that system exits, Arctic air once again returns. By around Sunday the 15th, colder air pushes back into the eastern states, erasing the brief warm-up. Then, around the 17th and 18th, temperatures surge again as Gulf moisture moves north. Both the European and GFS models show a powerful storm system developing between the 17th and 19th. On the European model, this system tracks across the Central Plains and Upper Midwest, a path that supports blizzard conditions across the Dakotas, Minnesota, and Iowa. The GFS shifts the system slightly farther north, reducing snowfall in parts of the Midwest, but expanding thunderstorm potential farther north and east. Both models indicate a 4 to 5 day thunderstorm window from roughly Tuesday the 17th through Saturday the 21st across the Deep South and eastern United States. Cities including New Orleans, Mobile, Birmingham, Atlanta, Nashville, Kingsville, and Charlotte would need to monitor for strong to severe storms during that period. By around the 22nd, another strong push of Arctic air is shown diving into the eastern states. Model trends have been getting colder with this feature. As that cold arrives, storm systems riding the jet stream could line up for additional snow threats across the Mid-Atlantic and Northeast. The European model shows snowfall totals in the 10 to 20-inch range across parts of the Ohio Valley, Mid-Atlantic, and Northeast over the extended period, while the GFS remains less aggressive but still active. Looking at the full snowfall picture over the next 15 days, both models agree on a major rebound for the mountainous west, continued activity across the northern plains, upper Midwest, Great Lakes, and Ohio Valley, and increasing potential across the Mid-Atlantic. The Mid-Atlantic signal is notably stronger on the latest European run compared to earlier runs, suggesting a trend toward a stormier pattern. Bringing it all together, the eastern United States is currently in survival mode under dangerous Arctic cold. A brief warm-up follows early next week with thunderstorm potential in the south. Another northern tracking storm arrives by the 12th and 13th. A possible northeaster signal appears the following weekend. After that, the pattern oscillates between Arctic air and warm surges through the rest of February, with multiple significant storm systems likely. Both the European and GFS models remain in unusually strong agreement that the next 2 to 3 weeks will be extremely active across the country. The cold you're feeling right now is only the first phase. Here's how this pattern evolves and what it sets up next.